Welcome, Tributes.
I'm Ms. Williford.
I'm Mr. Garcia.
And the topic of today's lesson is quadratic equations. Our goal today is to teach you how to write an equation of a parabola given a vertex and another point in 4 easy steps.
I'm Mr. Garcia. Today I'm going to go ahead and walk you through step 1, which is going to be locate our points. Remember that we need 2 points. Our first point is going to go ahead and be our vertex. Remember that our vertex is a max or a min. Our vertex is always going to be in the form h comma k. And my vertex for this particular problem is going to be 3 comma 10. Alright, the other point that you need is just going to be a point that's going to be on your parabola. So you can get this from your data. So I'm just going to go ahead and write point. You get this from data. And that's going to be in the form x comma y. And my particular point that I got from my data is 0 comma 4. That's the first step to locate your points.
We just finished our step 1. Now we're going to move on to step 2 by taking this information we have here and plugging it in to this equation. This equation right here is our quadratic transformational formula. Y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Now over here I'm going to rewrite my info. I have that my vertex is 3, 10. Now I remember that my vertex is in the form h comma k. Taking this and plugging it in here, what I'm going to get is y equals a times x minus h, which is 3, squared, plus k, which is 10. The next thing that I have to do, because we're not done yet, is plug in the point. My point is 0, 4, and that's in the form x comma y. Now when I plug this one in, I'm using this equation now. I'm going to plug in y, which is 4, equals a times x, which is 0, minus 3, square that, and add 10. And with this, you're done with step 2.
So now finally we're at step 3, which is simplify and solve for a. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those parentheses. So what I can do is I can go ahead and cross this out, and I can rewrite my equation as 4 equals 9a plus 10. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and label one of my sides my units, one of my sides my variables. So I want my left side to be my units. I want my right side to be my variables, and I'll just go ahead and abbreviate that. So now I want my variables on my left side and my units on my right side. So the way I get rid of that 10 there is I'm going to go ahead and subtract 10 from both sides. Once I do that, I get negative 6 equals 9a. And then my last step is going to be to go ahead and divide that 9 through the entire equation. So I'm going to go ahead and say divide 9. So then my final answer is I get a equals negative 2/3. And that's how you simplify and solve for a.
Moving on to our 4th and final step, what we have to do now is take our a and our vertex, and we're going to plug them back in to our general equation. Our y equals a times x minus h squared plus k formula right here. Right, so I've already written a in our vertex right here. I'm going to go ahead and label this. Remember, always remember, our vertex is h comma k. Now what I'm going to do is take my a, I'm going to plug it in to this equation. Now I have y equals a, which is negative 2 over 3 times x minus h squared plus k. Moving along past that, now we're going to plug in our vertex. Because for this equation, remember, our vertex stays the same. We can always pick different points to plug in. Our different, our points will most likely go on forever. However, our vertex will always stay the same. We're going to plug this one in now into this equation, just like we did before. We have y equals negative 2 over 3, our a, times x minus h, 3, square it, and add our k, which is 10. And with that, you have finished. This is now your final equation.
Okay, so we finally reached the end. Our goal of this video was to help you produce a quadratic equation given 2 points, the vertex and a point from your data. We hope that this video helped you confidently say that you could do that now.
And now, before we finish, we're just going to go ahead and review really quickly the 4 steps that we talked about earlier. Step 1, locate your points. So like we said, vertex and another point from your data. Make sure you have both of them and you know which is which. Step 2, plug in. This is your first plug-in step. You're going to take that vertex and that point from your data and plug them into your general equation. Step 3, solve and simplify for a. Now that you've eliminated all other variables in your equation, you only have a left. Now what you do is you work through it using order of operations and other algebraic properties, and you solve for a. Once you find a, you move on to step 4, which is your final plug-in step. I find a and my vertex, and I plug them back into my general equation, and this is it. That's your final answer. That is your equation that you want to end with. So, we really hope that this video helped y'all, and good luck on all of your quadratic equations in the future.
And as always, guns up.